The story begins in 1947. Andy Dufresne, a successful banker, is accused of murdering his wife and her lover after discovering their affair. Despite insisting that he is innocent, the evidence against him is overwhelming. The court finds him guilty and sentences him to 2 consecutive life terms in Shawshank State Prison. As Andy enters Shawshank, he finds himself in a harsh and brutal world controlled by violent inmates and corrupt prison guards. Many prisoners lose hope after arriving here, but Andy remains calm and determined. Little does anyone know that this quiet banker is about to change the lives of everyone around him. Inside Shawshank, Andy meets Ellis Red Redding, a respected inmate known for smuggling contraband into the prison. Red has spent many years behind bars and has become the man who can get almost anything. At first, Red thinks Andy is strange because he barely talks and keeps to himself. One day, Andy approaches Red and asks him to obtain a small rock hammer. Red is surprised because such a tool seems harmless. Soon after, Andy also requests movie posters of famous actresses. The prisoners assume these are simply hobbies to help pass the time. As months turn into years, Andy slowly earns the respect of Red and the other inmates. A friendship begins to grow between the two men. Prison life is cruel. Andy becomes the target of a violent gang known as the Sisters. They repeatedly attack him and make his life miserable. Despite the abuse, Andy refuses to surrender his dignity. One day, while working on a prison roof, Andy overhears Captain Hadley complaining about taxes on an inheritance. Using his banking knowledge, Andy offers financial advice that could save the guard thousands of dollars. Although the guards initially threaten him, Andy successfully helps Hadley. In return, Andy requests nothing for himself except a few cold beers for his fellow inmates. For the first time in years, the prisoners feel like free men, even if only for a few moments. From that day forward, Andy gains a special position within the prison. The prison warden, Samuel Norton, soon learns about Andy's financial skills. He assigns Andy to handle accounting tasks for the prison staff. Andy uses his new influence to improve life for the inmates. He begins writing letters to state officials requesting funding for the neglected prison library. For years, his requests are ignored. But Andy never gives up. Eventually, funding arrives, and the library is transformed into one of the finest prison libraries in the state. Andy also helps many prisoners earn educational qualifications and teaches them valuable skills. His actions inspire hope throughout Shawshank. Red notices that Andy talks often about life beyond prison walls and dreams of freedom. Unlike most inmates, Andy refuses to let prison define him. Years later, a young prisoner named Tommy Williams arrives at Shawshank. While discussing their crimes, Tommy reveals a shocking story. In another prison, he once met a criminal who confessed to murdering a woman and her lover years earlier. The details perfectly match the case for which Andy was convicted. Andy realizes he may finally be able to prove his innocence. Excited, he approaches Warden Norton with the information. However, the corrupt warden has no intention of releasing him. Andy has become too valuable because he secretly manages illegal financial schemes that enrich the prison administration. To protect himself, Norton refuses to help. When Tommy threatens to expose the truth, the warden orders Captain Hadley to eliminate him. Tommy is shot dead, and Andy's last chance at legal freedom seems destroyed. After Tommy's death, Andy appears defeated. He spends time alone in his cell while secretly preparing for something extraordinary. Unknown to everyone, Andy has spent nearly 20 years using the tiny rock hammer to dig a tunnel behind his cell wall. The movie posters hanging in his cell have concealed the growing hole. One stormy night, Andy finally puts his plan into action. He crawls through the tunnel and enters a filthy sewage pipe. After enduring hundreds of yards of sewage, he breaks free into the rain. For the first time in decades, Andy is a free man. The next morning, the prison discovers his empty cell. The guards are stunned. Andy has vanished without a trace. Before escaping, Andy secretly collected evidence exposing the warden's corruption. Using a false identity he created over the years, he withdraws money from the warden's illegal accounts and sends proof of corruption to authorities and newspapers. Police arrive at Shawshank. Faced with arrest and public disgrace, Warden Norton takes his own life. Captain Hadley is arrested. Meanwhile, Andy travels to Mexico and begins a new life near the beautiful Pacific coast in Zihuatanejo. Years later, Red is finally granted parole. Although afraid of life outside prison, he remembers Andy's words about hope. Following clues left by his friend, Red discovers money and a letter encouraging him to seek freedom. Red violates his parole and travels to Mexico. There, on a sunny beach, he finally reunites with Andy. The two friends embrace, ending a journey filled with suffering, perseverance, and hope. The Shawshank Redemption reminds us that even in the darkest circumstances, hope is something no one can ever take away. Kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel. Until next video, see you.